Dog Stewie wants to play with human Stewie and takes him aside for a chat where he reveals that he's also discovered how to travel between universes, one that allows him to input exact coordinates instead of jumping around randomly.
No, I think that's an AI tell. That is not what happened at all. The Dog Stewie did not make a better universe hopping teleporter. That's not what happened. The Dog Stewie made the exact same teleporter. It's just that the Dog Stewie realized that they had it set on shuffle, which means that the Dog Stewie and the human Brian had the same thing happen in their universe where they hopped through universes and they kept going to the wrong ones, except they realized that it was on shuffle. That had to be an AI hallucination. You would not get that wrong if you actually watched the episode and wrote about it initially. It's wrong for the same reason Blue Shell Player is wrong. Like, if you actually watched the episode, you would never say that because you would have watched the episode. If you didn't know the show at all, you wouldn't even be able to say that much because you wouldn't know the plot. But AI is right in that middle where it would hallucinate. And then the person checking the script, because the person checking the script didn't watch the episode, they don't correct it because they don't know that that's there to correct. Proudly producing clean content free of AI. I don't believe you. No villains are safe. Been a minute since we talked about No Villains Are Safe, right? When's the last time we talked about them? Last No Villains Are Safe video on the podcast channel. We've done lots of Sponge Truths. Alex Meyer's been kind of a thing lately. Was this the last time we covered No Villains Are Safe? All the way back here when I talked about them taking Ava's video but replacing it with Peter Griffin. Is that really the last time we did a No Villains Are Safe video? That's crazy. You know why I haven't covered No Villains Are Safe a lot? This is so boring, guys. Like, No Villains Are Safe. You know, it's like, it's funny. Like, it's almost worked out to their favor that they're so boring because, like, I can't even cover them. You know, and it's not even that they're boring because they're like an AI channel and they're low quality, because that's also Sponge Truths. Like, Sponge Truths is also boring. Like, Sponge Truths would be really boring to, like, just watch, you know, like, if I can't sit through a Sponge Truths video, like, in my free time, you know, but, like, Sponge Truths does, like, different, they've not posted a real video in a month. I mean, Sponge Truths is on their way out, but when Sponge Truths was kicking it, you know, like, we got, like, you know, we had the politics video, you know, we had the Patrick's Not SpongeBob's Friend. We had the Secret Room one. We had the Narlene one. You know, like, Sponge Truths was giving us different stuff to talk about. You know, they just did very different subjects. And Sponge Truths, I think the main difference between Sponge Truths and No Villains Are Safe is that Sponge Truths tries to make points. They fail, but in trying to make points, it's funny. You know, it's funny to see Sponge Truths try to make points, try to make statements. No Villains Are Safe just recaps episodes. I can't work with this. How am I supposed to criticize how many businesses does Mr. Krabs own? He's just recapping episodes that have anything vaguely to do with Mr. Krabs owning a different business than the Krusty Krab. Like, I don't know what to do with that, you know? Like, so, like, it's almost shielded No Villains Are Safe from my criticism that their content is so dull. There's two reasons that I'm covering No Villains Are Safe. One is I just did a video that was very similar to a No Villains Are Safe video, so I think I have a direct comparison. And two, Sponge Truths is on their way out. Sponge Truths is... I think Sponge Truths is never going to post a real video again. I think it's pretty likely that this is the end of new Sponge Truths content. I think that Sponge Truths is just doing these 3-hour compilations, and one day they're gonna post the last one, and we're never gonna see another Sponge Truths video again. Genuinely, I think that whatever is behind Sponge Truths, which, as we know, these like AI channels, I think that they are run by like tech bro, like, you know, just people who are, it's a part of like a money portfolio. The people who run these AI channels, they're not like me, where they're just a guy who like wanted to make YouTube videos, but they happen to use AI. That's not what is happening here. These are people who have a portfolio of ways that they try to squeeze money out of nonsense. You know, they probably also invest in crypto. They probably also invest in the poly market and all that crap. That's probably who does Sponge Truce, who does No Villains Are Safe. And I think with Sponge Truce, I think it's just gotten to the point where it's like they are not financially incentivized to continue making new videos. So what they do is they make these 3-hour compilations of the old videos, and they're going to do that for as long as they can, and then they're going to quit. No Villains Are Safe is still kicking with new real videos, or like not real videos. All their videos are not real videos. It's not real content. Recapping episodes is not real content. But what I mean is, Sponge Truce has only done 3-hour compilations for over a month now. Before that, it was how much is SpongeBob's house worth? We know the difference. Like, we see how these are like real videos by Sponge Truce standards. No Villains Are Safe is still doing normal videos by No Villains Are Safe standards. How many jobs has Brian had 3 days ago? Probably just recapping a bunch of episodes where Brian had any sort of job. That's it. No Villains Are Safe did take a month off. Actually, Whose Job Is Worse, Peter versus Homer, was like a month between that and this one, which is weird because they usually, 3 days ago, 6 days ago, they usually post every 3 days. They did take a month-long hiatus. I'm not really sure why. Someone said that they took a month-long hiatus to act like they were not an AI channel because real people go on hiatus sometimes. I don't think that's true. I think the reason they took a hiatus is because I think No Villains Are Safe likes to have videos in the bag. They like to have a backlog of videos. And I think that there was probably just some issues behind the scenes with editors getting their videos out. And they just were like, you know what? If we take a month off, then we can just get back on track. I think that's probably what happens. I mean, they're probably just overworking, inexperienced editors and pumping out these videos. I'm sure there's going to be problems with that workflow at some point. So that's probably what happened, but I don't know for sure. I don't know their business. No Villains Are Safe is probably going to still be around for a little bit after the end of Sponge Truths, because I think that they are the best at hiding that they're AI. They have in the description of their videos, they say, we proudly don't use AI. I don't believe them. I think they're lying. You can just lie. You can just say that, and you can't really prove that someone is AI unless they really screw up and leave something in there, though there are some things about No Villains Are Safe that reveal their AI. Blue Shell Player being one of them, but there's a couple other things. It's fine to just assume that they're AI. There is enough about them being low quality that we can just assume they're AI. If they ever prove that they aren't AI, beyond a shadow of a doubt, I'll stop saying that they are. But I think they are. Love your content, Jackson. With all these recaps, why wouldn't you just watch the cartoon episodes at some point? I think the reason that recaps are popular is twofold. There's a couple of reasons. When people are watching YouTube, they're willingly not wanting to watch a full show, a full narrative. They don't want to fully watch a full narrative. So when they get this kind of recap content, it's like they're getting snippets of the show, but not really having to watch the whole show. That's sometimes why it's popular. I don't think that's good. I don't think that makes it valid content, even if that does explain why it's in demand. I do think people should just watch the actual episodes in that case. Another reason is that they don't frame it as recapping. Notice how none of these videos say, recap of Family Guy episode, recap. They don't say that. They say, Whose Job Is Worse, Peter versus Homer. So someone looks at this video and they think that it's going to be an analysis on the characters' jobs. And then when it just recaps episodes, a lot of people can't really tell the difference. Or even if they can tell the difference, they've already clicked on the video and they might be doing something else. They might just be wanting to listen to something. Getting someone to click on the video is most of the battle anyway. Some people have very low standards for what they want to listen to, and they'll just kind of let it be. So since No Villains Are Safe is probably going to be around, I should start covering them a little more. And I think a good thing to cover with them is their ranking every Road to episode in Family Guy, because I just did a video where I actually did rank all of the Road to episodes. So we'll see if my ranking is the same as No Villains Are Safe. It seems like it's already not, because they put Road to Germany as S tier and Road to Multiverse as A tier. And I put Road to Multiverse as number 1. And I think Road to Germany was one of the lower ranked ones for me, because Road to Germany doesn't really have a story. It's a very spectacle based episode with a lot of action and a lot of stuff, but it doesn't. Road to Germany actually is the least story of all the Road 2s. Even though it's not the worst, I don't think it's the worst one, but it is very like, that's kind of one of the reasons that people praise the Family Guy Road to episodes is because they have like stories. Like you get like, you get like kind of an arc from Brian or Brian or Stewie. You get like kind of an arc from them. Road to Germany kind of doesn't have that. So the very fact that they put it at S tier is like, whoa, it's like spectacle. Whoa, it's like it has some jokes that are funnier, and like that's why it's S tier. It's like that's not real analysis. So I think that already speaks to the shallowness of No Villains Are Safe from that. But anyway, another thing about No Villains Are Safe doing ranking every road to is that is very opinion based. Like, I wonder if this is in some ways an actual analysis, because this is supposed to be analysis, ranking every road to. You have to make meaningful analysis, or maybe not meaningful. You have to actually analyze the episodes and talk about their quality. Like, a lot of No Villains Are Safe videos are not talking about quality. The ultimate SpongeBob Family Tree. You don't need to share an opinion about any episodes to say the ultimate SpongeBob Family Tree. You just show evidence from episodes that show you, who's related to SpongeBob, which, by the way, is not a bad video inherently. Like, a video not being an analysis is okay. There's probably a version of the ultimate SpongeBob Family Tree that isn't just, and let's be real, the problem with this video is that they're recapping all of the episodes. They're going to go way too detailed into the plots of episodes, and that would be the problem with this video. But like a real channel, like perhaps like probably like Ava, this will be like up Ava's alley to do like a video like this, like I bet he'd do a video on this that would be like a good version. So I don't think I've ever seen, like, I'm trying to see, are there any that seem to be opinion based? Oh, look, here's another one. Fans think these episodes were a mistake. This wasn't working. Best versus worst episode of every SpongeBob season. Oh, dang. So I didn't even know this. No Villains Are Safe does try to do commentary. I've not even noticed this. I've only seen from No Villains Are Safe, like stuff like how many businesses. So let's see how No Villains Are Safe does commentary. I'm sure it's not great.
Here's Stewie and Brian on a regular afternoon.
It's okay. It's okay. Do you like my soothing voice?
Do you like my soothing voice?
And here they
Here's Stewie and Brian on a regular afternoon, and it shows them it shows a clip from Seahorse Seashell Party with like, that's not a normal afternoon at all. I mean, I guess it's trying to say that's like a normal episode, because in every episode of Family Guy, something wacky happens. It's already such a weak start. It's saying that the Road to episodes are like a little more special than other sorts of episodes, but it's just saying it very poorly. And it's saying it in a way that it can like steal that joke. I've said this before, but I'll say it again here. When No Villains Are Safe steals jokes, they do it to trick their audience into endearing they do it to trick their audience into liking them by using jokes that they didn't write. So like if you start your video with that Family Guy joke with very little context and someone laughs at it, they might think in their mind, No Villains Are Safe made me laugh. But No Villains Are Safe didn't make you laugh. Family Guy made you laugh. But that's not what your brain is telling you. So that's just one way. And like, that's anything. Like that is, and like if I have in my videos, I will quote a joke from Family Guy or from SpongeBob or something because I'm actually analyzing it. And that'll probably happen with that. Like you'll like laugh and you'll be endeared to me, even though I didn't make the joke. I'm just commenting on it. But when I do it, it's because I'm trying to give actual analysis, and just inconsequentially, you end up laughing at the joke because I'm analyzing a joke. No Villains Are Safe just steals jokes. It's shameless. I think Sweaty Clam might be AI. I know I need to do a Sweaty Clam stream. I don't think it'll be super interesting. It'll probably just be me ripping on their videos like I would Alex Griffin, like I would No Villains Are Safe. I'm trying to think of more of a thesis for Sweaty Clam, because Sweaty Clam doesn't do that much different from No Villains Are Safe or Alex Griffin. And they just do it in a way that's less interesting.
They are on a full-blown adventure.
Brian, you might want.
Here they are on a full-blown adventure. This isn't a Road to episode. This was going to be a Road to episode. Back to the Pilot was originally called Road to the Pilot.
So much chaos that the folks over at Family Guy have dedicated an entire miniseries to the duo. And today,
I think that's an AI tell that he called it a miniseries. I think that's an AI tell. And I'll tell you why. I had to look up the like list of the Road to episodes to make sure that I got all 8. And it calls it a mini series on the wiki. But I didn't call it a mini series in my video. I guess reasonably you could call it a mini series because it says mini series on the, like, it is referred to as a mini series. I just think it's pretty likely that AI spat out the word mini series and they kept it in. It's not really a mini, I guess you could call it that. It's more of just a recurring kind of episode. I don't know. Make of that what you will. It does call it a mini series on the wiki. So I feel like I feel like AI would spit out the word mini series and it would just end up staying in. And I feel like organically writing a video, I don't know if mini series would cross your mind as a word to use to describe these episodes. It certainly didn't for me. I went out of my way to not call it a mini series because it didn't feel right for me. But maybe it's different. I don't know. Maybe a different writer seeing it would call it a mini series.
Ranking each and every one of
them. So there are 8 here. You see the question mark. So they're saying Road to Germany is in the middle. Mid-Adventures, Road to Europe. So Road to Europe is one of their less liked ones. And their top ones are there. Wait. They said that Road to Germany was S tier in their thumbnail. Why is Road to Germany in the middle? So is Multiverse lesser? The top 2 have got to be Multiverse and Road to Rhode Island, right? Maybe Roads to Vegas. Maybe they put Road to the Multiverse below. But why would it be, like, wouldn't the S tier one be here? I don't know, man. Like, they're trying to kind of gamify it. Like, see how they have, like, it's kind of interesting. Like, as a structure, you show that there are 8 and you reveal what 2 of them are. That's not a terrible structure, to be honest, you know? And a human would have to come up with that as, like, a structure. Maybe not. I don't know. Sometimes AI tells you, like, what to put. I don't know if I do that myself, have, like, a hint of ones in the middle. It seems like this whole, like, question marks with, like, things in the middle, I think it's just a thing where no villains are safe. The people behind it think that this improves retention, but it actually kind of doesn't. You know, because they do a lot of tricks, you know, no villains are safe. Like, they do the bar, like, is there the bar? Yeah, like, they have the bar. Like, look at this. Look how they have, like, a bar on the side, like, as it's playing.
picture of her, Brian. Hey, it's his funeral.
Yeah, like, as it's playing, like, this, like, bar moves. This is, like, a retention maxing thing. The reason that they do this is that if the bar is close to the end and you're about to click off the video, you are encouraged to sit and watch to the end because you know it's close to the end of that section, which incrementally ups their view duration. But also you have to have a stupid bar in your corner that shows that you're a channel that's desperate for people's view attention. So I wouldn't want to do this because I feel like not looking like an ass is more important than whatever benefit you get out of this, but you know, to each their own. So yeah, I feel like this question mark stuff is that it's like that, but like it doesn't actually work. I don't think this actually makes a difference. Maybe it does. Maybe it's like you might as well do it if like you get a certain amount of people that watch farther, that watch more because you revealed some and put the question marks. Maybe that makes it a good business decision. I don't know. I think it just reeks of desperation, gamifying it. You know, it's not a game. It's you're trying to do analysis, and I think you're kind of just, you know, it's just kitschy. Just don't like it.
Episodes from their mid-adventures all the way to their generational journeys to find out their ultimate adventure. Starting.
That feels kind of AI-y too. Mid-adventures to generational journeys. I think that's kind of like an AI thing, where they give it titles like that. Ooh, should I try? I think I need to see what happens. I'm sorry, guys. I know people don't like it. We just need to. And again, like, disclaimer with this. I'm doing this to teach people. I'm doing this to show people what it looks like when you prompt AI and what it gives you. I do not use this garbage in my regular life. I only use it within the context of this stream to show you what comes out and compare it to what we got from No Villains Are Safe. So, when it comes to No Villains Are Safe, how I think No Villains Are Safe operates is that they prompt AI, and that gives them the first draft of the script, and then I think that a real person goes through the script and takes out a lot of AI tells. And I think they're very good at doing that, and there are less AI tells because of it. But the reasons that I think that they initially prompt AI to do their scripts is, one, their videos are never something that AI couldn't do. All of their videos are things that AI could write easily. They don't do any sorts of videos where it's like AI could never write that. And there's never been anything in their videos that I would say AI couldn't have come up with that. Like if you look at my, like I just said, like I'm about to prompt it to say, do a video where we rank every Road 2 episode. I did a video where I analyzed every Road 2 episode. You could ask AI to do that, but AI would not have the same takes that I have in my video. There are things that I do in this video that AI could never do. I don't think that's going to be the case with this ranking every Road 2. Maybe not. I mean, they have a human writer who might add some stuff that perhaps AI couldn't do. But another thing about this is that this is just the generic Google Gemini. There are AI things that you pay for. There are different models. There are all sorts of things. I'm sure if you have an operation like No Villains Are Safe and there is a premium AI that gives you better results, I'm sure they use it. So results may vary. But I think that looking into what AI spits out when I ask it to make the same video that No Villains Are Safe has here, I think that that can be impactful. All right, I just put, write me a YouTube video ranking every Family Guy Road 2 episode. I don't know if that's what they prompted. They could have prompted it differently. They could have gotten separate things, all that sort of stuff. I am not saying that this is exactly what No Villains Are Safe's process is, but let's look for similarities. Here is a complete production-ready YouTube script for Family Guy Road 2 episode. Oh, look. They called it miniseries. See? AI referred to it as miniseries. Okay, so we have some sorts of things. So we don't have... So they have mid-adventures, top-class trips, generational journeys. Okay, so it doesn't say that. It didn't give me that. Point to No Villains Are Safe. Point to me for miniseries. Notice how it says stuff like... the King of Road episodes. You know? The structure feels like that, you know?
Starting with the mid-adventures and the time the boys jet off to India. It's actually the latest installment of the Road 2 series, and it kicks off with Brian's computer bugging out, so he has to call up tech support. And he takes a real shine to the woman who picks up his call.
Hold with tech support. My computer locked up right in the middle of the story I'm working on.
God, even Microsoft Word hates your writing.
Thank you for holding. How can I help you?
Well, for starters, you can keep talking with that lovely accent.
Spends like the next 6
Dude, that was like so pointless. That whole beginning, it recapped it and it showed a clip that wasn't even a joke. It's almost like it has a quota. It has a specific quota. It's like describe, then clip. The clips are not required. Putting in clips from an episode should be like clips that you hear. Like when you actually quote the episode by putting in the dialogue, it should be under really specific circumstances. It should be you need to show the audience the character actually saying the thing because you describing it would not be enough to describe it. No Villains Are Safe just puts in, it's just to pad it. It's just to give it more time.
hours on the phone to her, telling her about his dreams and his sudden love of Indian culture. She helps him out and his laptop is back up to running smoothly, but Brian can't help but call her back and pretend he still needs some help.
Look, bro, just say, look at how I described this episode. So we just got with No Villains Are Safe. They just recapped like the beginning of the thing. Brian falls in love with a woman from India. She works at a call center. His computer gets fixed, but he still keeps talking to her, and it played footage and this and that and blah, 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 blah. Here's how I introduced us to Road to India. Chapter 8. Road to India. And this brings us to the final Road to episode, Road to India. The premise of Road to India is that Brian falls in love with a woman from India who works at a call center, so him and Stewie go to India to meet her. So the main problem with Road to India is obvious. It's just a bunch of jokes that vaguely have something to do with India. You know, criticism, a criticism right there. I slightly recapped it. And now we're getting into the criticism. We're getting into the part where you're watching me. You clicked on my video. You want to hear what I have to say about this episode. I am assuming that you've already watched this episode. I should assume that. No Villains Are Safe doesn't assume that because they just want you to watch their stuff as a substitute for actually watching the episodes.
My computer wasn't actually broken this time. I just wanted to talk to you again.
I like talking to you too, Brian.
Brian's tech crush is called Padma, and he realizes that he's in love with this woman, or the sound of her voice anyway. So much so that he's going to get on a plane to go to India to be with her.
But I have to be with her.
It's literally been a full minute of recapping. How long did I recap it before I started actually doing commentary? It's been a full minute of recapping so far. Let's see mine. The premise of Road to India is that Brian falls in love with a woman from India who works at a call center, so him and Stewie go to India to meet her. So the main problem, literally less than 10 seconds. It's literally less than 10 seconds. He's gone on for a minute. He has not given any criticism.
Not to be like super shallow or anything, but you haven't even seen a picture of her, Brian. Hey, it's his funeral.
Criticizing the character. What he just said is so bad in terms of a review, because he just said, Brian, you're going to go meet this person. You haven't even seen a picture of her. That is like the point. Like, that's like the problem with the episode, is that he's like super into this person that he's never even seen. But the problem is, this is a ranking every road to. You said this is the bottom one. So when you say that in that tone where you're criticizing the character, you're almost saying that this episode is bad because the character does that thing, which doesn't make any sense, because that's not a criticism of the episode. You could say that about Road to Rupert, which I assume is higher ranked on this. You know? Oh, like, Stewie, like, you're going to go get a teddy bear, but like, it's not even alive, doy. It's not a criticism. Saying that a character does weird things is not a criticism. And you know what? Even beyond it not being a criticism, it's just not important. It's not good. I'm going to say it, there is literally zero context where you, as a YouTuber, saying Brian hasn't even seen her. Dude, what's wrong with you? There's like no context where a YouTube video should ever have you say a comment like that. There's no it's because it's not commentary. There is no not every video has to be media analysis. Not every video has to be criticism. There are videos that are just talking about the lore of a fictional world. There are good versions of videos that are, what if this character was charged for their crimes? Like, there are theory videos. There are lots of kinds of videos that don't have to be critical analysis. Even within the scope of acceptable videos that could be YouTube videos, I can't think of one where smugly saying, Brian, you haven't even seen this person, is acceptable, because it's just what the episode presents. It's not your job to say that, because now maybe you could say within the, like, if you said the episode is criticizing Brian's character flaw of getting too overly in love with anyone who gives him attention by having him go off to India to meet a woman that he's never even seen the face of. That's analysis. That's actual analysis. But what No Villains Are Safe did...
My yoga class will be so jealous.
Not to be like super shallow or anything, but you haven't even seen a picture of her, Brian. Hey, it's his funeral.
What No Villains Are Safe just did is exactly what the episode does. So you don't need to do it because the episode already did it. You might as well be just stealing the episode at that point.
So the boys head on over to Asia to find Brian's soulmate.
We finally made it, Brian. We're in...
The boys head over to Asia to find... I mean, that's technically correct. Like, India is in Asia. You wouldn't say Asia. Why would you say Asia? You wouldn't say that for any country. What the heck? Why did it say head over to Asia? Like, it's technically true. Like, I know we have kind of a bias where we'll say that with Africa. Like, if someone goes to Africa, they'll usually say Africa and not the country, which I think is bad. I think it's bad that colloquially people say, I went to Africa, and they don't say the country. Whereas if someone goes to China or Singapore or Thailand or India or Indonesia or Bangladesh or any of these, or Japan or South Korea, they'll say the country and they won't say went to Asia. Like, maybe you would say you went to Asia if you went to multiple countries in Asia. You know what I mean? I just think that's odd. Is that an AI thing?
Excuse me, man with no pupil? Where can we get a taxi cab around here?
Getting there's the
It's just stealing that joke. Just stealing that joke.
easy part. Now Brian's got to find her, which isn't exactly easy in a country with a population of 1.4 billion. But they do know what...
They made a That's so stupid. So stupid. So desperate, man. They made a viewer retention edit to say, like, the population of India. Like, what? Like, that's not even a thing in the episode. Is that even a thing? He knows where she works. That's such a stupid comment. It's going to be hard to find her because there's 1.4 billion people in India with a graphic. I think he knows where to find her. They don't search the whole country.
$0.4 billion. But they do know what company she works for, so the boys head there to try and track her down.
So what? So then why bring up the population if that's not so stupid?
Stewie's on my wavelength, it seems, because he's about to ask Brian the same thing I did a second ago.
So, we haven't discussed what you're going to do if she's a pig.
She's already beautiful to me, and
He's going to ask Brian the same thing I did a second ago. Yeah. Wait, yeah. Because the episode does... Wait, hold on. Are you acting like you're, like, smart because you guessed that? Or what? Like, what does that even mean? Stewie's about to ask Brian what I said. What is self-report? Like, what is self-report that you're just repeating things that the episode already establishes?
I am Ranita. There is a python in my cube.
Dude, it's like every joke. It's like every joke in the episode, right? Like, just watch the episode at this point.
Brian's lucky day. He even got a cheesy line prepared for her.
Why are you here?
because I was having a technical issue with my heart.
16 hours on a plane and that's what you came up with?
Seeing as
Listen to this. Listen to how bad this is.
he even got a cheesy line prepared for her.
He even got a cheesy line prepared for her, and then it shows this.
Why are you here?
Because I was having a technical issue with my heart.
16 hours on a plane and that's what you came up with?
It's literally the same joke that Stewie says. It's the same joke. He's like, Brian even has this cheesy line. It's like, yeah, Stewie points out that it's cheesy. What are you adding to the episode? You know that YouTube commentary, it's supposed to be transformative. Transformative means that you are providing something of your own. Not that you're just taking the other content. Even if you don't like Family Guy, like even if you think like Family Guy is like bad, you know, or like this episode is bad because it's like offensive or this or that. Like even if you're bashing this episode and saying that it's like the worst thing ever and that it shouldn't exist and it shouldn't be made, it still is, like, just from a technical perspective, it still is copyrighted content. It still is something that you didn't make. So you presenting something that you didn't make and making money off of it needs to be something that you are doing, not just what the episode did. And No Villains Are Safe gets away with stealing from Family Guy by acting like it's analysis. And I think that's so messed up. Dude, there's almost 3 straight minutes of recapping the episode. Have they said anything that is a criticism other than a criticism of Brian, the character? I mean, look, we're already halfway through. I could tell by the stupid little bar.
So what's the party for? Patman's birthday or mom and dad's wedding anniversary? No.
It is my honor.
Oh my goodness. What, I wonder what the party's for. They're like, it's because the woman that Brian is in love with is like engaged. But like, why are you're not the show. You don't get to do that if you're not the show. The show gets to write your own show. Write your own show if you want to do reveals and stuff.
Pulled the old Uno reverse on us. Brian's gone from guest of honor to
Pulled the old Uno reverse on us. Oh my God. This is no substance. No substance. Pulled the old Uno reverse. Talking about what a character in a show does. It's ranking every road to. This is last. This is the worst one. Tell us why this is the worst one. I said why it was the worst one.
It's just a bunch of jokes that vaguely have something to do with India. You know, you got stuff.
The jokes suck. They're all the most obvious jokes that you would make about India.
But I think what brought this episode down so much is that it just had to be so Family Guy about it, you know? Like, think about it. What if when they were making this episode, they recognized that the joke where there was a big crowded street or whatever is the most obvious joke someone could come up with about India, and decided to dig deeper into Indian culture, and from there come up with some situational comedy, much like the situations we saw in Road to Rhode Island. Like, I don't know.
Well, that's like real criticism. Like, see how like that's like all I'm talking about is like actual criticism of the episode. Like, I don't need to like, if I can't imagine like sitting here and going, oh, you think that's a plot twist because she's actually engaged, and I didn't need to mention any of that. It didn't matter. It wasn't a part of the analysis. And if I did bring it up, it should be because it was a part of the analysis, but it wasn't. But like, if you're going to say this is the bottom one and this is the worst one, why? Let's see if it says something at the end. It's got to say something in the end. It can't just recap it and move on. it has to have some kind of criticism. The AI has the criticism, so like it's not like it wouldn't give it to them. The episode feels tired and relies on cliche regional stereotypes. Hey, that is similar to what I said. I said it a lot better. And I actually analyzed why that is instead of just saying it's cliche stereotypes. Like just saying that, see, AI can identify that that's a problem that's been said about it, but it can't really dig into why like I did.
He and Stewie put their heads together to come up with a way to earn money fast, but it's not exactly pretty work.
Yes, excuse me. I have a tapeworm. All right.
Dude.
Lie down on your stomach. This won't hurt a bit.
Charming worms out of people's butts isn't good enough for Brian. He figures he'll go on India's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire show to win the dough, but let's just say he's not that clued up on Indian culture.
D. Jiminy Cricket. Final answer.
All recapping. I like how it gave us a bar so I can show you visually how much of this section has been just recapping. No commentary. No commentary. On a ranking video.
You know nothing of my country or my culture.
Well, that was a really tough question.
Truth is, they just have nothing in common. So she thanks Brian and says her goodbyes.
Bye, Brian.
Truth is, they have nothing in common. No, that's not, like, it's not even getting it right. It's because he doesn't know her culture. Like, that's his character flaw, is that he doesn't actually respect a different culture from his own. And that's the problem. That's like a character flaw. And that's like the reason that he fails. Like that, and it's not like amazing. Like it's, is it? It's not really reinforced. Like the cultural difference, like his cultural ignorance is not really at the forefront. It kind of just comes in at the end to like be the reason that she rejects him. Like it's not amazing. I didn't even say that in my review. I didn't think it was super necessary. I do think in a lot of ways it's like it is fine. It's a fine way of ending it where it's like, yeah, they weren't right for each other, but he got it wrong. He just said they have nothing in common. It's not they have nothing in common. It's that he doesn't understand her culture. And since it's a cultural episode about them going to and engaging with a different culture, that makes it kind of meaningful to the story overall. Again, if the episode had a bit more respect for Indian culture and actually like made jokes that were a little deeper into it, that actually would have been a lot more meaningful, which is probably why this, again, I'm saying right now, why this would be bottom Road to. And it doesn't even, like Road to India isn't even that awful of an episode. Like it really isn't, even compared to other Family Guy episodes that aired right around it. Like it's bad compared to all of the other Road Tos. Like it's just so much weaker than every other Road to by a lot. But there are way more atrocious Family Guy episodes out there than Road to India. Like it wouldn't even crack my top, I think, 30 worst Family Guy episodes. Maybe even top 50 worst. Like it's not even there. Like it's really not that bad. But it is the worst of the Road Tos. But they're not explaining why. Maybe in this little sliver they'll explain why.
It's a little creepy to go halfway around the world for someone you've never even seen a picture of.
Dude, you already said that. And the episode does not call Brian creepy for that, actually. Like, it does say that it's a little rash, but creepy is not correct. It's not really creepy at all. She likes him. She flirts back with him. He is not creepy to her. So that's just saying things for the sake of saying things. Maybe we'll get commentary in this little sliver.
Episode is by no means bad. It's just very average. Like, there was a ton of promise at the halfway point, but kind of just ended up.
Look at that. Wait, we actually got commentary in the last sliver.
This episode is by no means bad. It's just very average. Like,
it's just very average. How? I explained how it was very average. I explained how it was weak. I explained its problems.
There was a ton of promise at the halfway point, but it kind of just ended a bit anticlimactic.
There was a ton of promise at the halfway point. How? What was the promise at the halfway point? Like, you're not even, like, can you reason why that is? Oh, maybe it's saying that the twist with the, like, her being engaged was, like, that was the promise at the halfway point.
Bog standard episode of the show, and certainly doesn't live up to some other Stewie.
You already said that. You just said it's average. You give very little reasoning, and then you say it's a bog standard episode of the show. How? Describe how.
Next one on our list is Road to Europe.
Oh, man, that's it? Dude, that's it? Are you serious? Wow. All right.
Watching his favorite show makes Stewie realize he's not exactly the most American guy. Gee, I wonder what gave that away. Not like he has a British accent or anything. And speaking of Britain,
what riveting commentary 6 minutes into this video. Let's compare the first minute of the Road to Europe analysis to the first minute of my Road to Europe analysis.
Our list is Road to Europe. You know, the one where Stewie becomes super obsessed with a show called Jolly Farm Review.
It starts with Stewie being obsessed with the Jolly Farm.
Mother Maggie.
The sun has risen on another day in Jolly Farm.
Watching his favorite show makes Stewie realize he's not exactly the most American guy. Gee, I wonder what gave that away. Not like he has a British accent or anything. And
Bad joke about Stewie having a British accent.
speaking of Britain, considering Jolly Farms is filmed there, Stewie decides he's going to run away from home and head to London.
Recapping the plot. Not pointing out how that plot is meaningful, Stewie decides to run away from home because he feels insecure about his family. That's important. That is an important part of why Stewie runs away in this episode. It's what makes this episode have a story. But when you don't care about that stuff, it doesn't come up.
So he chases after him and just manages to make it on the same flight. Although he does have to be a stowaway.
Hot towel.
Yes, thank you.
Why would you steal this joke if you have to censor his butt?
Stowaway.
Hot towel.
Yes, thank you.
Hey, Stewie's always been...
Like, why? Like, just don't steal that joke then. The joke is funny because it's his butt with the hot towel, because the joke is that you generally don't put a hot towel on your butt. If you blur his butt, why are you stealing a joke you can't show? I don't understand. It's a cartoon butt. I don't know why you can't show it. It's a cartoon butt. You can show it. It's fine. It's like the fracking thing, right? With the censorship. Like, what is this blurring? Blurring is weird. Of stuff that does not need to be blurred. It's definitely like, that's like a kid's retention thing, right? The only things I've ever blurred in my videos was Gross Out and SpongeBob. When I talked about Gross Out and SpongeBob, I would blur it just because I know I wouldn't want to look at it if I was watching a video. So that's the only time. But I would not blur Stewie's butt. I put Patrick's butt in a lot of stuff. It's so he can get into YouTube Kids. No, this is not, well, you're a little, you kind of get it, but you're misunderstanding. It's not so he can get into YouTube Kids, because YouTube Kids is separate. If this video was YouTube Kids, it would actually not get as many views, and it also wouldn't get comments. It's not that. It's actually trying to toe the line. It's trying to not be YouTube Kids, but it's also trying to be viewed by kids. Most kids do not watch YouTube Kids. YouTube Kids like sucks. Like for kids. Like kids do not like YouTube Kids. It's not entertaining. All that brain rot stuff, like some of it gets into YouTube Kids. There is like Elsagate stuff on YouTube Kids. It is a problem. But most of the times when we talk about like brain rot content that like kids watch on YouTube, it's not on YouTube Kids. It's like this. It is like this. Blurring could be anti-copyright. No, it's not anti-copyright. It's not. They would not get copyrighted either way. The blurring, because they've only blurred when there was a butt. When there was like a character like it takes her pants off. That's the only time they blurred. It's clearly a overly cautious censorship, which is not necessary for videos like this.
It could be worse, Brian. You could be stuck on a plane to Britain with a petulant runaway. Oh, wait, no, I can do one better. You could be stuck on the wrong plane with a petulant runaway because the flight that the boys aborted is headed to the Middle East.
Okay. All right, so that is the first minute. The first minute of the road to Europe. It's just been recapping. It's recapping stupid details like they got on the plane. You don't need that. Let's just watch mine. Let's watch my first minute of when I talked about Road to Europe. I did mine in chronological order. I didn't do them as a ranking. I did a ranking at the end, but I just went over each one in chronological order. So I did talk about Road to Europe second, but I talked about it because chronologically it was second. So let's see.
The next Road to episode is Road to Europe.
Okay, so the beginning of my analysis starts here, meaningfully. Same as like how I counted it with them when they said like Road to Europe. Did you establish it? Now, let's see the first minute of my commentary compared to his.
So unlike Road to Rhode Island, which had an arc for Brian, Road to Europe has an arc for Stewie.
Has an arc for Stewie. I compare. So, okay, so like one difference is if you're doing it as a ranking, and you're ranking them worst to best, you can't say compared to Road to Rhode Island because you wouldn't have talked about Road to Rhode Island yet, unless Road to Rhode Island was ranked lower, which it probably wouldn't be because it's considered the better episode. Since I'm talking about them chronologically, I was able to say Road to Rhode Island. But I still started off with something that mattered. You know, I still started off by saying this road to this is the blah, blah, blah. Still started off by saying Stewie has an arc. That's basically how I started off. I compared it to how Brian had an arc in Road to Rhode Island, but still, I started off by saying Stewie has a character arc in the first 5 seconds.
Brian's role in the story is that of the voice of reason, who decides.
Brian's role in the story is that of the voice of reason. Again, analysis of how the story is structured. What is Brian's place in the story? How does it tell its story? This is stuff that people actually learn from. It's not just recapping an episode you've already seen before or an episode that you could just go and watch.
Decides to let Stewie face the reality that the British TV show he thinks he's going to live inside is actually nothing more than a facade. Similar to how
That was a recap. The British TV show he wants to live inside is nothing more than a facade. That's a recap. That's me saying the plot. But notice how I'm saying Stewie has an arc. Brian is letting him learn that because he's the voice of reason. I am framing all of the recapping within actual meaningful commentary. That is what makes my videos transformative and what makes No Villains Are Safe videos copyright infringement. I'm sorry. No Villains Are Safe videos are copyright infringement. Definitionally. Like, they just are. You just can't meaningfully go after them for copyright infringement without going after people like me. It's a loophole.
Road to Rhode Island showed that Stewie was a reliable friend to Brian because he would help him out of jams. Road to Europe shows how Brian is a reliable friend to Stewie because he's the kind of friend...
Analysis of their character dynamic through the comparing the two episodes. Again, like, you couldn't compare... You can't say the exact same thing as me if you're ranking all of them, but you could say something equally meaningful.
That will support you and allow you to make your own mistakes and still be there for you when you learn your lesson. Similar to Road to Rhode Island, Road to Europe also has a strong emotional core with the whole...
Emotional core. Talk about the emotional arc of the episode.
Stewie wants to abandon his family because he's insecure about them thing. Road to Europe...
Stewie wants to abandon his family because he's insecure about them. Let's hear this again.
Watching his favorite show makes Stewie realize he's not exactly the most American guy. Gee, I wonder what gave that away.
He's not exactly the most American guy. That's just not the plot. Stewie doesn't care about he wants to go live in the show because he hears Peter and Lois talking about Peter's underwear, and he thinks that Peter is a fat oaf and he doesn't want to be raised by him. That's what the episode is about. It's about him being insecure about his parents and who he is, and he wants to be more like the kids on Jolly Farm. It doesn't have anything to do with him being an American.
Wait, not like he has a British accent or anything. And speaking of Britain, considering Jolly Farms is filmed there, Stewie decides he's going to run away from home and head to London.
Stewie decides he's going to run away from home and go to London. Not saying the reason. I specifically stated the reason because that's the story.
Europe is definitely a lot more bit-focused than Road to Rhode Island. Like, you'll notice that in Road...
More bit-focused. Analyzing the comedy.
To Rhode Island, a lot of the humor comes out of the specific situation Brian and Stewie are in, such as the scenes in the seedy motel. The comedy...
And I give an example. I give evidence for my claim.
Is reinforced by the fact that they are in a difficult situation and isn't as much focused on the actual location itself.
Oh, look, that's a minute. So that's already the first minute compared to it. But my next point is, I'll just get to my next point because it's kind of cut me off in the middle of a point there.
Road to Europe, a good amount of the jokes are just a parody of the place in Europe they're in.
So analysis of how Road to Europe approaches its comedy, basically. That's the point. Man, a lot of that relied on me talking about them in chronological order, I just realized. So I'm actually really glad I talked about them in chronological order and didn't talk about them in rank form. So this video was not really so much about me ranking them. This video was much more about me talking about them. I just ranked them at the end because it felt like people would want to know my rankings.
Their balloon travel can only take them so far, though.
So, like, since it's recapping, I'm going to have to jump through the recapping. We already know it's recapping. I've established it with the Road to India one. We don't need to see them recap every episode.
The boys hop on a train and manage to make it all the way to Amsterdam.
Oh, I'm exhausted. Oh, the smoke is so acrid.
That's because it's not cigarette smoke, Brian. Just by spending a little time at the cafe, the boys lose.
Oh my god! You're so immature. That's that's embarrassing. That is so yeah, that's not cigarette smoke, Brian. That's the joke, man. And again, you're making the joke that's in the episode. That is the joke of the episode. They're like, "Ooh, it's so smoky in here," and then the next scene they're high. It's funny because they're a cartoon dog and a baby, and they're high. That's the joke, and it's enough. It's enough to be a good joke. And it also works because they're in Amsterdam, and at this time, Amsterdam was you could I think weed was legal in Amsterdam when it wasn't legal in most of the world, including America at that time. At the time this episode was made, that's the joke, you know. But like, you're just explaining the joke. I didn't explain this joke. I didn't because that's just the joke. I like what commentary would I have on this joke other than it's funny because Brian and Stewie get high. and they're in Amsterdam because that's what you do in Amsterdam, and that's a part of their journey. It's road to Europe. They go to Europe. They need to do a couple of bits in different European countries so that Stewie can get to his destination and they can continue the story. This is animated comedy sitcom 101. If I was going to analyze this, I would talk about that. I didn't need to. I just said that it was more bit focused. That was all I needed to say for my analysis. But at least if you're going to talk about it, you could talk about it in that way. You could even go one step deeper. I could even analyze this scene more. And again, I didn't need to in my initial analysis. It wasn't super necessary to my overall point. But another part of this scene that makes it a little more meaningful than just two characters getting high, and it's funny because they're a cartoon dog and baby. Usually when two characters are like on a journey together, and the journey's kind of tense, you know, Brian and Stewie are not fully in agreement. Brian's only there because Stewie's kind of dragging him along. So there is like kind of a tension there. Them getting high together is a way of bringing them closer together as friends. So that is actually important to the story. So actually, there's a lot you could say about this scene that I'm even just now realizing. And all No Villains Are Safe does is go, "That's not cigarette smoke, Brian. That's weed." Like, it's just worthless. It's just worthless. It's just worthless. This channel, its existence is worthless. It is a net negative to the world. It should not exist. It should not exist. If something provides no good, it provides bad. Because it's taking away from good. You just did commentary on why the joke is funny, though. I know, I can't help myself. I'm like, I don't even need to do commentary on this joke. And then I do it involuntarily. Like, you know. But that's me. I'm like, it's just in my rhythm at this point, you know? But like, if your job is to analyze media, you got to do better than this.
The only reason we die is because we accept it as an inevitability.
After whatever the hell that was, the boys finally make their way to Dolly Farm, so Stewie...
After whatever the hell that... Like, what? Don't be so indignant to the like, take the show seriously. I'm sorry. I know the show doesn't take itself seriously, but you're the reviewer. You should take the show seriously. I just did. I just took the show seriously. I didn't look at this scene and go, after whatever the hell that is. That's so disrespectful. I'm sorry. This is a good scene. This is a good scene. This is a well-made cartoon scene. It understands what it's supposed to be. It understands that it's silly. It understands that it's a dog and a baby getting high by accident in Amsterdam. It knows what it is, and it embraces that. And for you to reduce it to whatever the hell that was, just because it is a cartoon dog and baby getting high, I think that that's anti-intellectual. I think that that is a harmful way to think about this piece of art. I think it is. And Family Guy is not perfect. And Family Guy is also not the highest of art. I don't think Family Guy wants to be the highest of art. I think that Family Guy wants you to look at it for what it is, that it is a silly show, that it is a vulgar show, that it is an edgy show, and that it is there to primarily make you laugh. It succeeds at making you laugh because it tells a good story. Those things are connected. But like, it's just disrespectful. It's just disrespectful to what the show is actually supposed to be, which is a wacky show. No, it's not supposed to be Shakespeare. You know, it's not supposed to be high drama. Like, it's okay that it is what it is, but you should respect it for what it is. And saying, oh, whatever the hell that is, like, it's just, I just don't like it. I just don't like it.
It's a good thing Brian went with him, because imagine if he went all alone. He'd be trapped in Britain with a broken heart, but at least he's got his best buddy with.
Taking the show too seriously. Oh, it's a good thing that Brian's with him, because then he'd be all by himself. He would have been trapped there without his friend. Yeah, it's a show. It's a show. That's what the show is communicating. That's what you feel when you watch the show. When you watch the episode, that's what it's supposed to make you feel. The writers of this episode earned that. You didn't. You need to provide additional commentary.
Hey, come on. You want to get some ice cream? That'd make you feel better, right?
Stewie and Brian head on home, and while the little guy won't...
Wait, why did that cut off? That's not... Why did it cut off at... Look at this. They don't even steal clips right.
Even look at me. Hey, come on. You want to get some ice cream? That'd make you feel better, right?
You want to get some ice cream? That'll make you feel better, right? Oh, I guess it's because it's like saying that like Brian's being a good friend here. So it goes, you want some ice cream? That'll make you feel better. Okay, but that's not what happens in this scene. In this scene, Stewie doesn't want ice cream, and Brian goes, you want to poop in Mother Maggie's shoes? And Stewie's like, yeah, I want it. Like, it's like they're being like wholesome. Like he's saying you want to go get some ice cream, but he's actually going to go and defecate in someone's shoes who made him mad. Like that's the, I don't know why you're not stealing that. If you're going to steal jokes, at least steal the jokes, at least steal the parts of this scene that are funny. I don't know why you're putting in a clip of him saying, want to get some ice cream.
I think this episode is certainly a step up from Road to India. It does have that old Family Guy charm going for it, too. I just think it's a little bit slow at times, and like with the first Road to we covered, it fails
It's a little slow. Look at these generic things. It's a little slow at times. How is it slow? Where is it slow? It's slow. It's slow. That's the end. Road to India, it's bad. It's bad because it's bad. Oh, it's bad because it's slow. How is it slow? It's slow because it's slow. Where is it slow? Where does it drag on? Where are the problems? I could agree with you. That it's slow. Maybe it has. I don't really. It's actually, that is not a criticism I would have of this episode. Tell you the truth, that it's slow. What do you mean it's slow? What are you talking about? I guess the Peter and Lois stuff kind of drags on. I said that the Peter and Lois storyline drags on. That was something I said, was that it kind of drags on, which I guess is I guess it's similar to saying it's slow. I don't know. I think it's lacking
in comparison to how big some of the other plots are in the other episodes we're covering today.
So it's saying that the plot wasn't big enough and that was what lowered it. That's so shallow. The other ones are more high concept, so they're inherently better. That's such a shallow reason. Like, something having a high concept doesn't inherently make it a better story. I mean, unless like you're getting to the point where it's like you personally like, oh, well, like I personally enjoy, like let's say Road to Europe, you know, like I personally enjoy Road to Germany more because it has more action. Like, it's just at that point you're just saying, what do I enjoy more? And like, I guess you can do that, but like, what's the point? What's the point of making a video about it? Like, you should be a little more objective than just like, I don't know, it's weak.
The titles, as this one's called, Roads to Vegas. And it opens up with Brian winning a set.
Roads to Vegas is third worst.
Our grand prize winner is Brian Griffin.
Wow, I don't believe it.
And with one ticket to spare, who else is Brian going to ask out to go with him other than Stewie?
I was wondering if you want to go to Vegas with me and see Celine Dion.
Are you kidding? Of course I want to go.
The sci-fi gadget in this Road to is a teleporter that malfunctions and clones Brian and Stewie in Las Vegas, leaving the other Brian and Stewie to have to take a plane.
See how I didn't have to say that the reason they go to Las Vegas is because they have Celine Dion tickets? Like, see how I didn't need to say that? Who cares about that detail? It doesn't matter for analysis.
Shark to bet on a fixed basketball game. Turns out it wasn't so fixed after all. Brian and Stewie don't have a clue.
It turns out it wasn't so fixed after all. Recapping. They just recapped the whole episode. Like, I could tell there was no commentary there. Where's see, it's good to have this helpful bar because I could see where the commentary is at the very end.
I tried like hell to talk you out of it, but you jumped off a balcony. People keep coming back every hour because they think it's a regular show, like the volcano or the pirate ship thing.
Yeah, guys, that's totally how it all went down. Anyway, the pair head home and decided to put the whole...
Oh my God. So annoying. So in that scene, they're lying to each other about how the other Brian and Stewie died, because basically of the two, you know, because there's two different Brians and Stewies, and one of each pair dies, and then the others find each other, and there's a scene where they lie to each other about how the other died so that they don't sound bad, because really what happened is they kind of screwed the other over, and No Villains Are Safe goes, yeah, that's what happened. That's the joke. I'm repeating myself too much, aren't I? I'm starting to notice it.
Far more like what you'd expect from a Road 2 episode. The stakes are big, there's twists and turns, it's action-packed, and it's just maybe a tad confusing at times. As you saw at the end there, kind of...
Maybe a tad confusing at times? How dumb are you? This is such an easy episode to follow.
Wrecks the whole continuity of things. Like, does that mean Brian from season 11 onwards isn't the one we knew?
Look at the blur. Come on, man. That's not even graphic. What a joke. Wait, does that mean Brian from season 11 onwards isn't the one we knew? Wait, that's not even a good... First of all, it's not a criticism. That is a question, which you can make. Like, you can say that within the middle of a review if you say like a continuity thing. But at the end, when you're supposed to be reviewing the episode, you said like it's like action-packed or this or that, but you're not saying how. You're not saying what the episode did that made it work. It's weird how it says, is the Brian from season 11 on, not the one we knew. Is that an AI tell? Because the AI is tracking the Brian and Stewie that got teleported as a different Brian and Stewie. Because I think the point is that they're clones. So they are the same. It's just one got warped to Vegas and one... So no, but why only Brian? It's weird that it said Brian. And that Brian is the one who's the original. So that's Stewie and Brian, because Stewie has the suit here who died. So the Brian who lived of this Brian and Stewie pair is the one who got cloned. So I guess that's why it's saying, is the Brian not the same one from season 11 on? It's very weird. So let's compare what No Villains Are Safe said, which was just, it's action packed, it's high stakes. Again, the very shallow surface level takes. Let's compare to what I said about Rose of Vegas.
The Brian and Stewie that got teleported have much better luck than the Brian and Stewie that had to travel by air. Vegas was really the right location to choose for a story like this, since it's a place that is notorious for being either really good or really bad, depending on your experience. From
how the location worked with the story. The story is about luck. One Brian and Stewie has bad luck, one has good luck. They used Vegas because Vegas is known for you could have a really bad time or a really good time. It's a way to show that you, literally the same people, can have a really bad time or a really good time.
there, the episode goes through a series of jokes that revolve around the misfortune of one Stewie and Brian as compared to the good fortune of the other.
The jokes are on that foundation.
Episode uses this premise to challenge the relationship between Brian and Stewie
to challenge the relationship of Brian and Stewie. Look, I showed him getting like, who cares? Like, you don't need to blur this. It's not that graphic. You see, I didn't blur it.
good luck Stewie getting killed and the bad luck Brian getting killed as well, showing that no matter what level of luck, these two have the capacity to betray one another if backed far enough into a corner.
My commentary is so good, man. Like, this is what a video like this is supposed to look like. Like, I'm sorry. And look, you could probably get away with commentary that isn't even as good as this. Yeah, it's like kind of action packed. Like, it's got like high concepts, and like that's what makes it like better than the other Road 2s that I already talked about, like whatever. But like, I'm actually saying how the situation of the episode challenged these characters and how contributed to a broader story.
Kicking us off is Road to Rupert, where Brian accidentally sells Stewie's favorite stuffed bear to a random guy in a garage sale.
Give you $1 for this.
Sold.
Brian, where's Rupert?
Go through
Recap.
it. Brian decides to tell him the truth. That Stewie didn't react any word in order to track down his
Recap.
cuddly friend.
A match. Stanford Cordray, 89 Spooner Street. That's only a few blocks.
We really needed to know the guy's name. We really needed to know his name. That was so important. No Villains Are Safe. Thank you for reminding us the name of the guy who bought Rupert. I don't know how you could analyze this episode without it.
Jump into the nearest car and get its speed after moving his truck.
Please follow the truck.
Adam West puts
Look at how badly it cut that joke. I think, was that copyright?
car and get its speed after moving his truck.
But that was not. I was gonna like, they go, please follow the truck. The way that this was cut, I thought it was gonna be like they got copyrighted, so they had to trim the clip. No, there was an edit there, meaning that was the original cut from the video. They did not cut it afterwards, and they go into this.
Rupert is about to move house, so Stewie and Brian jump into the nearest car and get its speed after moving his truck.
Please follow the truck.
Please follow the truck. Why are you putting in the, you know, that's a punchline of a joke, right? When they say, please follow the truck, because they get in and they say, follow that truck. And it's like a really like tense situation. And Adam West is like, I didn't hear please or something like that, because he's Adam West and he's silly. And so they have to say please. And that's the joke. So I don't know why you're putting please follow. Why even put this clip if not for the joke? You just said they got to follow the truck. It's fine. You don't need a clip. Why does everything have to have a clip after it?
But as soon as it comes to entering Connecticut, he refuses to continue the chase.
And then they don't even steal the joke when they should steal the joke. When it comes to entering Connecticut, he refuses to. You're not going to put in the hilarious line where he says, if I go into Connecticut, I've been in every state that Connecticut's ever been with or whatever, with like no elaborate. Like, it's a hilarious line where Adam West just for some reason can't go into Connecticut. And you're just saying it like it's part of the plot. That's got to be AI. That's got to be A human would know that that's a joke. An AI would just go, yeah, Adam West can't go into Connecticut. Any human would know that that's a joke.
It's a shame that's like a bajillion miles away. Well, it's nearly 2,000 miles, and that's a bajillion in my mind.
Take two.
I want to take a moment to say something important. I do not believe that all comedy is subjective. That is an objectively bad joke. Objectively. I'm starting to see a couple of... I got this on my Alex Myers video because I kept calling Alex Myers unfunny. And I got like these people who are just like, I mean, like, you just don't think he's funny. Like, I think he's funny. No, I think he's objectively not funny. And I think No Villains Are Safe is objectively not funny. That is not a good joke. I'll explain how. I'll explain an argument as to why.
It's a shame that's like a bajillion miles away. Well, it's nearly 2,000 miles, and that's a bajillion in my mind.
All right, here's why that joke is not funny. It just has no commentary on anything. A joke... Look, the reason that jokes are funny, there's a lot of reasons why jokes are funny. There are. A lot of it is misdirection. A lot of it is surprise. But jokes are meant to communicate a truth. I say sometimes, I get some pushback for this where I say that comedy is about challenging power. Not all comedy is explicitly about challenging power. I would say that the main thing that comedy does is challenge power. That is the main social function of comedy. But unlike the arts, which I think the main social function of the arts is to broaden perspectives, and if the arts doesn't do that, it fails. I don't think comedy fails inherently if it doesn't challenge power. I think it's okay if it doesn't. But I think that comedy needs to communicate something. And I think that when comedy is just, it's a bajillion. Oh, wait, it's 2000, but that's basically a bajillion. I think that is objectively not funny. Not funny because, oh, I just don't think that's fun. No, I think it is objectively not. Well, what if someone laughs at it? Doesn't that make it funny? No, I think it's still not funny. You can laugh at something that's not funny. It happens. It could be that the word bajillion sounds kind of silly. It could be that, the very misdirection of it might get you. Bajillion 2000. Oh, yeah. Like, it could happen. It could happen. I think it's important for us to say it's objectively not funny. Because then how do we criticize comedy? How do we criticize anything if we can't say that some things are objectively bad? Because then every conversation about everything just becomes about personal taste. And I'm going to be honest, I don't care about discussing personal taste. I really don't. It doesn't matter because it doesn't matter to me. Because I don't have a problem with people's personal tastes. If someone personally doesn't enjoy Family Guy because they don't enjoy cartoons, they'd rather watch dramas, I hope that person enjoys the things that they watch. I think that like in this conversation of like objectively, I think we need to really understand the difference between personal taste and objectively bad, because comedy can be subjective. It absolutely can be. I talked about this in my Alex Griffin video, my first Alex Griffin video that talked about religion jokes that make fun of religion. And I said how for some people, they personally do not enjoy certain jokes about religion because they are religious, because they believe in the deity that the joke is about. And there is a wide spectrum of that feeling. But I'm talking about the most good faith reason. Someone who just has a certain faith in a certain deity, and when there is a joke about that deity, even if it's a good joke, they just personally do not enjoy it. That is personal taste. That is subjectivity. And that person could simply just not laugh at that joke. They could, if there's a Family Guy episode, like the Jesus episode, and they don't really like that episode and they skip it, or they don't watch the whole show because they don't like that there will be jokes sometimes that make fun of something that really means a lot to them. This is personal taste. This is subjectivity, and that's totally fine if someone feels that way. But what that person shouldn't do, and what that person usually doesn't do, by the way, this hypothetical person, I mean, there's a million kinds of people out there, and there are people who go on and they complain about jokes about religion, obviously. But I'm talking in a good faith, a mature person who is offended by jokes about their religion would let it go, would like let it go and understand that it is subjectively not to their taste. But that's not what I'm talking about when I talk about this joke. When I criticize a joke, when anyone criticizes anything, if someone criticizes something, it means one of two things. It means either this thing that I'm criticizing should be changed to be better, or this thing that I'm criticizing shouldn't exist. If you're talking about subjective taste, you're not talking about either of those things. Let's say I didn't enjoy Family Guy. I personally didn't like Family Guy. I love Family Guy. As you would know, a part of my job is making videos about it. I do love Family Guy. I think it can be very flawed at times, but it's flawed objectively. The parts of Family Guy that are flawed as a comedy show. When I criticize Family Guy, I criticize Family Guy because shows like Family Guy, shows that exist within the framework of animated comedy sitcom, should not do these things because it makes a animated comedy sitcom worse. That's what I mean when I criticize Family Guy. I have never, and I will never, criticize Family Guy or SpongeBob from a series. I might say one thing offhandedly, that could happen, but like, I would never deeply criticize Family Guy and just go, yeah, I just like kind of personally don't care for that. I personally don't care for that. I will argue that something is objectively bad. If I make a criticism of something, it either means I think that thing should be changed to be better. I think it should not exist. In the case of No Villains Are Safe's joke, I think that it shouldn't exist. I think that there is no version of that joke that is funny. There is no version of this video that works. The whole thing should just be thrown in the trash. Should not exist. Hey, Celibate Sahara, thank you for the $5. Writing good jokes takes a lot of thought and effort. It sure does. I never intentionally write jokes for my videos. If they happen, they happen. That's my attitude when I write my videos. If I happen to write something funny, then I will do it. If I'm able to do a bit, then I will. That is my subjective approach. Some people go out of their way to write jokes in their videos. They have a specific amount of jokes they want to put in their videos, and that's a fine approach. I don't have anything against that. There could be negative consequences to that because sometimes you might write a joke that's not funny because you have a quota of jokes. But if you're a good comedian, you know how to navigate that. I mean, think about, well, Family Guy might be a good example because Family Guy has some pretty unfunny episodes. But let's think of a good Family Guy episode. A good Family Guy episode has a quota of jokes. They have to have a certain amount of jokes in every scene, and they nailed them all, you know? Anyway, I just kind of wanted to rant a little about that, about not even just how No Villains Are Safe is objectively not funny, but how, yes, there are jokes that are objectively not funny. And to argue against that is to argue against any criticism of anything. Because how would you even criticize jokes? It's not to my taste. Who cares if it's not to your taste? What is that? That doesn't mean that the comedian should do anything different. If I said that joke wasn't to my taste, I wouldn't be saying anything should be different. That's not criticism. That's just saying how you feel about something, which is fine if you're hanging out with your buddies. If you just talk, but for a YouTube video, there's no reason for a YouTube video to just be things I personally don't enjoy. Who cares? Unless they're your friends, who cares? Even if it is subjective, you can have a more informed opinion. I think subjective means that it's not informed. And I think that's okay, because it is okay to have like, if you don't like animated shows like Family Guy, subjectively, there are reasons for that, but they're personal reasons. It's just your personality doesn't vibe with that kind of comedy. If it's subjective, I think the point of it being subjective is that it's not informed. Because subjective is just about your feelings. That's not informed. Informed is objective. Perhaps there is a relationship between subjective and objective and informed and emotional. There is a relationship between those things. You can get a lot deeper from that. But I think in general, if you have a subjective opinion and it's not informed, I think that's fine, but it doesn't have any place in real arguments. The problem is when you bring your subjective opinions into my comment section and try to use them as a rebuttal to the things that I am arguing about. And sometimes I'll just ignore comments, but I usually will argue with people just to demonstrate that, just because I have I want to figure out why people say subjective opinions as if they're objective opinions. I think that's a big problem, and I like to kind of prod the people who say their subjective opinions in my comment section so I can get answers out of them. And usually because they like arguing, they respond and they give me the info I'm looking for.
The boys hightail it out of there. And
I'm sorry, what was that?
Oh, Crow.
Look at this. Why was that censored?
Only to immediate.
Look, this is the shot that he censored. Why was this censored? Look at this. Is it because he's screaming? That's so weird. Because he blinded a kid? Because it's violence? Did he put hot tea in his face in a cartoon? That's so weird. There is no blood in the scene. Here it is. This is the shot. I wouldn't even consider this shot being something to like blur. What? That's got to just be over caution, right? That can't be like an actual strategy to get more views. Why even put it? I don't know. It's probably because they bleeped like Stewie being shot and they bleeped butts. So I guess that just kind of got caught up in the bleeping. It's so weird.
Road to Rupert is a great episode. The pace is good. The jokes are nonstop, and the ending feels like
It's a great episode. There's a lot of jokes.
exactly like what Stewie and Brian would do. Plus, they get to put some
The ending feels like exactly what Stewie and Brian would do.
snot-nosed kid in his place. Who doesn't love that?
They put a snot-nosed kid in his place. That is not an indicator of the episode's quality. That's just a thing that happens in it. All right, I'm gonna go over this part to just compare it directly to mine.
They carjack some random guy, not that it bothers Stewie.
They carjack a random guy, not that it bothers Stewie. So I actually had a real commentary on that.
At the end of the episode, Stewie challenges the father who now owns Rupert to a ski race, betting Brian for Rupert. After Stewie loses this ski race, there's a moment where he accepts losing Rupert,
Maybe this is a sign that you were right. I am getting too old for Rupert.
only to immediately go back on it
Should
and
have blurred that. Sorry I had to show you that, guys.
take Rupert. Brian also refuses to honor the bet and simply says he isn't going to live with the family. And then
So the first thing I set up is that Brian and Stewie refuse to honor their bet for Rupert. That's another important piece of context that is connected to the carjacking, as I'm about to demonstrate.
two of them steal a car to get home. So this is a classic case of Family Guy using its edginess to further reinforce its themes and tell
Family Guy using its edginess to tell its story. So all No Villains Are Safe said was Stewie carjacked someone. No, not that he cares, because he just stole their car. But I said that it's a way for Family Guy to use the kind of show that it is, which is an edgy adult animated sitcom, to tell its story.
a meaningful story. These moments of Brian and Stewie cheating the bet and stealing a car are meant to show us that these guys don't really take the mature way out of things. And
They don't take the mature way out of things. That is how it's demonstrating that, is that, oh, most shows have characters, try to do the right thing, try to make the thing. Brian and Stewie do the opposite of that. And it just shows you, like, and first of all, it's funny. It's funny to see. It's funny that they're like, how do we get home? And they just steal a car. That is objectively funny, because it's just like, it's not what you'd expect. It's a commentary on how shows would usually go about it. That's what makes it funny, is that they're just like, yeah, let's just steal a car and go. Sure.
There, we as the audience can take a few possible different lessons for ourselves out of that.
And it allows the audience to take different lessons. The fact that Brian and Stewie do these things, like not honor their bet, like steal a car, these allow for us to extrapolate a lesson. Because obviously you shouldn't steal someone's car just to get home. But that kind of selfishness is what's being commented on in the joke. Obviously, you're supposed to honor a bet if you make a bet, but they just don't. And also, the guy they made a bet with was a jerk, like that. This father was a real jerk. The kid was a jerk, so it's like, why honor the bet? If someone's just taking your thing and you want to get it back, there is something satisfying about it too, that they don't honor the bet. Like, there's so many ways you can look at it that I'm talking about here that No Villains Are Safe just does not talk about.
Road to Germany. Mort needs to use the bathroom, but it's currently in use.
There's a scale in there. I'd like to have a before and after on this one.
I'll be out in a minute.
I really need to go.
The blurring.
She said she'll be out in a minute.
Who else but Quagmire? I shouldn't let him off the hook that
Okay, but like, why are you blurring it if you're showing the joke? The joke itself of Quagmire with the camera is that's way more raunchy than Meg's legs. Like, they're legs. All right? You don't even see anything. Like, the joke itself, like, if you are someone who shouldn't be seeing legs to the point where they blur the legs, you should not be seeing the joke that Quagmire has a camera in their bathtub. No Villains Are Safe blurs out Meg's legs. It's all a business decision. It's all just like, oh man, like, if I don't blur this out, then we'll get fewer views from kids. That's the logic of it. Whereas, like, let's take, for example, when I blurred out SpongeBob Gross Out. I didn't blur out SpongeBob Gross Out because I thought that the YouTube algorithm wouldn't recommend my videos over it. In fact, I think it had no bearing on it. When I blurred out SpongeBob Gross Out, I was just thinking about my audience. I was just going, my audience is going to watch my video. They're going to look at the footage from SpongeBob, and I don't want them to see SpongeBob's gross splinter. I don't want my audience to have to see that. They should be like, the reason that they're clicking on my video about the SpongeBob Splinter episode is because they hate that gross out in the first place. So why would I show them the thing that they don't like that brought them to the video in the first place? And I think that's really the difference here, is that No Villains Are Safe is just No Villains Are Safe is just censoring this because like that's just like their thing. Like the whole thing shouldn't be shown to a certain age group. It's Family Guy. It's TV 14. Like it's Family Guy. Kids aren't supposed to watch it. I mean, I guess teenagers can watch it. I guess teenagers are kids. They can watch it. I watched Family Guy when I was 12 and I was fine. I don't know. I'll let, you can debate actual ages of when it's appropriate to watch Family Guy. Obviously, like there's a point where it's like little kids, no, you shouldn't watch Family Guy. And there's a point where you're old enough where it's like, yeah, you can watch Family Guy. Where the actual line is in between, like I'll leave that to the scholars. All right. I watched Family Guy when I was 12 and I enjoyed it. And I think I turned out fine. That's all I'll contribute to that debate.
And as always, Stewie takes it a little too far. Right, I guess you could say.
Stewie takes it a little too far? That's gotta be AI, right? Stewie takes it a little too far. Stewie doesn't dress like Hitler for the love of the game. He's disguising himself as Hitler to infiltrate the science lab. This is weird. This is a weird thing to say.
Hey guys,
Hitler!
This is you just showed the line. That was why he. Okay, whatever.
Thanks to Stewie, though, the boys managed to snag a rod of uranium, but there's a certain famous German that they're about to bump into. Stewie was a reflection of his.
There's a certain famous German. His name is Hitler. All right, it was a person who existed, who you should talk about because they existed, and you should acknowledge who they were and the awful things they did by saying their name. I don't know. Is YouTube weird about that?
Road to Germany might not be the most tasteful thing Family Guy has done, which isn't saying much, but it's not.
I think that's a dumb criticism. Isn't the most tasteful thing. I disagree. I think it's the opposite. I think that Road to Germany is, I guess it makes jokes. I guess it's because you're using the serious subject to make jokes. But I think Road to Germany is just kind of a long line in, like, because most of Road to Germany is just like beating up Nazis. Like that's like Road to Germany. It's like why people enjoy like Indiana Jones or Inglourious Bastards. Like that's like that's a part of it. And that does have actual historical context because the Nazis were our enemies in World War II, and they're a very agreed upon enemy, both ideologically and literally in that time period. So media that portrays beating them up is actually seen as tasteful, not as distasteful. Perhaps some of the jokes could be, but just because you're I don't know. I think that I just think it's bad analysis. Like I just think this leads to bad analysis where you just look at anything that acknowledges the existence of the World War II era stuff is like tasteless. I think Road to Germany is anything but tasteless. I think I actually talked about the wedding scene in Road to Germany. So like the wedding scene where they're at the wedding and they're celebrating and then it's juxtaposed with the like tanks invading. There's a couple jokes in there, sure. But overall, I think that scene takes very seriously the subject matter. And that's why it works, because it actually does take it seriously. Even with the jokes, it's not making fun of the wrong things, basically. Very media illiterate take on this. And if you have any arguments for why Road to Germany is distasteful, I could hear them out. But he's just saying flippantly it's distasteful. Like, tell me why. Tell me why it's distasteful. Just saying that it shows World War II Germany does not make it distasteful. Acknowledging that those things existed is not distasteful. It just isn't.
Non-stop action and packed full of pretty funny jokes. The plot is a real time travel caper, and it's endlessly rewatchable. We're sort of at the moment now.
It's endlessly rewatchable. These are not reasons why it's good.
Family Guy Christmas special, Road to the North Pole.
Okay, so the thumbnail was a lie. Because the top ones are Road to Rhode Island and Road to Multiverse. The thumbnail lied. It said S tier is Road to Germany. A tier is Road to the Multiverse. B tier is Road to New York. What? Why is there Road to New York? Is that AI? Is that did I just is that has to be AI? Because the thumbnails are AI and then someone draws over them. There's a bit of evidence to this. There's some very weird inconsistencies with the thumbnails. They are generally very good at hiding that their thumbnails are AI. I feel like that's a tell. I don't know how it got there. I don't know how Road to New York. Let me see what happens. I didn't end up looking at the AI one. I wasted that water kind of for nothing. Didn't really help, huh? I'll think about that for later if it doesn't really help. I said, can you make me a thumbnail for this video? Let's see what it comes up with. Does it do Road to New York? How would Road to New York come anywhere? Oh, it will go against your guidelines. Copyright for the win. They use a different model. I wonder how this happened. I don't understand how Road to New York would happen. What are its guidelines? It's copyright. I told them to make a thumbnail ranking all Family Guy Road 2 episodes. And it can't because it's copyright. Right? Let me try something else. Can you make a thumbnail for a video talking about the best Family Guy episodes? See what happens. I think it just can't do Family Guy. I'm pretty sure it can't do Family Guy. Wait, let me try another one. Just a generic one. Can you make me a thumbnail for a ranking of every SpongeBob season 2 episode? Let's try it with SpongeBob. Yep. Yeah, it's Family Guy. Yeah. I think Disney's just got it under wraps. That's very interesting. This thumbnail is complete garbage. This would not get clicks. Like, are you serious? As someone whose income relies on making good thumbnails, like more than anything else, that is not a good thumbnail. Here, let's try a real Disney one. Can you make me a thumbnail for a ranking of every Mickey Mouse Clubhouse episode? Let's see that. See if it does that. Yeah, I think it's Disney, guys. I think it's so Disney. Can you make me a thumbnail for a review of the new Avatar Aang movie? I can't depict public figures. I can't depict some public figures. What? Oh, let me try something else. That must have just confused it. Got a little bit of a rabbit hole here. Does it think that Aang is real? Public figures? I don't know. Wait, no, Avatar? Wait, Avatar? No Avatar. What about Fairly Odd Parents? That's odd, right? That it gave me SpongeBob. It gave me Fairly Odd Parents. Look, it gave Vicky Timmy's teeth. Oh, it gave me multiple. Oh, we gotta have that Mr. Beast gold. Gotta have that Mr. Beast gold. Why is the Crimson Shin brown? Dude, these thumbnails are so bad. Why am I getting so many? What the heck? Why'd you make 4? Why it keeps making them? This is like a Fairly Odd Parents episode where I ask for something and it gets out of hand. Maybe because Avatar just released? Maybe. Why are there 2 Jorgens? What is happening? It's not stopping. What did I do? How much water am I wasting right now? I'm draining a lake in some small town that smells bad because of the data center. Look at this. #1 Channel Chaser's best. Over here, #1 Channel Chaser's best. Dude, they keep getting worse. What is happening? Try telling it to stop. I don't want to. I want to see how far it goes. I want to see when it stops. Dude, it's still going. It just keeps getting more detailed. It's just the same one. It's just getting more fried. It keeps, how many does it give? Look at all. Press the square on the bottom. Oh, stop response. Why did it get stuck? Oh, that's like a thing? Okay. Wait, why did it just keep going? I must have clicked something wrong. Let's not say Family Guy. Let's say, can you make me a Peter Griffin is a bad father thumbnail? Dude, I did not know that it just keeps going. What did I press that made it just keep doing that? Wait, AI has to be able to do Peter Griffin because Alex Griffin totally has AI Peters. Look, there's an AI Peter right there from Alex Griffin. That's AI Peter. What's another one that's particularly bad? Look at this AI Peter right here. There's AI Peters. They have got Peter Griffin under lock and key. Is this new? Did something change? Maybe it's just a Google Gemini thing. It's weird. Maybe ChatGPT works. Yeah, I know. Google Gemini is the only one that I don't have to like make an account for. If you do ChatGPT, you gotta like make an account. And I'm like, I just can't go that far. All right. Weird. That was a little bit of a rabbit hole. That's kind of like a win for our side though. Like the fact that you like that there's stuff that's like making you not use copyrighted characters with it. Like it's better than nothing. You can get it to do it if you spend a while jailbreaking it. Okay, so there's like things that you can do.
Well, it turns out that old Saint Nick is super sick thanks to capitalism. Basically, the world's population
Super sick thanks to well, like it is. I hate when you're on my side, you know, like I hate when these AI channels, we just saw this with the Alex Griffin with the Family Guy Hates America, where like Alex Griffin talked about like all these like criticisms of like American politics in Family Guy that like I agree with, but like Alex Griffin would just like say these criticisms and just be like, that's the take or whatever. Like it's like when I went over this part is I said
This reinforces the main theme of the episode, which is that overconsumption can negatively affect Christmas.
You hear how much better that is? Santa's sick because of capitalism. The main theme of the episode is that overconsumption can ruin Christmas.
So everything in the North Pole is toxic. So much waste is being produced, and the elves?
Dude, stop freaking! It's a show, man. It like why are you getting mad about that? Like it's real.
Yeah, those frickers are more inbred than yeast. As for
Those frickers.
reindeer, they're now feral beasts who love nothing more than a wandering elf in the snow.
Feral creatures with a bloodlust for elf flesh.
Yeah. Just gonna repeat the dark jokes from the great, cool. No commentary.
Road to the North Pole is an all-action Christmas extravaganza. The plot's both entertaining and super thoughtful, and in my opinion, has
It's entertaining and thoughtful. How?
the best musical number out of all the Road 2 episodes.
It has the best. Again, that's just subjective. Like it's just they all have great musical numbers. Like talk about, like you could say that offhandedly. Like if I said, like I don't think I did say it, but like if I said in the middle of my Road to Multiverse, I'm like, yeah, there's the It's a Wonderful Day for Pie song. That's my favorite song in all the Road 2s. Like if I just said that offhandedly, like that's fine. But like your only stuff that you're saying in the very little part of this where you actually have commentary, you just go, yeah, it's my favorite song in all of them. It's just not enough, man. It's not enough.
Considering it's nearly Christmas at the time of recording, I may be a bit biased.
It's nearly Christmas at the time of recording. January 29th, 2026 is when this came out. Remember what I said at the very beginning? That they want them in the can? That's so just outed that. It's nearly Christmas at the time of recording. I think that's a very big indicator of this being like a content farm. At the time of recording, it's almost Christmas and the video doesn't come out until January 29th. First of all, cut that out. If your video is coming out at the end of January, do not have a line that says it's almost Christmas at the time of recording. Because it's not almost Christmas to anyone who has ever watched this video. This video came out January 29th of this year. Literally, no one who watched this video watched it near Christmas time. Every single person, as of right now, it's August. There has never been a person who has watched this video around Christmas time. Why keep that in? You just have them in the pipeline, ready to come out. And like, it's fine to have a bit of a pipeline. Okay? I don't really have a pipeline. I generally get my videos done right before I get them done. Sometimes I have a couple in the works for a while. And like, if you're a big operation, maybe you have a bit of a pipeline, like sure. But like, it's just cynical. You know, you combine that with everything else about this stupid channel and it's just cynical. It's just all cynical. It's nearly Christmas at the time I'm recording this. And it doesn't come out until the end of January. Like just such a factory.
Started Road to Rhode Island. Seeing as this is the first adventure the boys go on, it's obviously going to be a little higher in the rankings, but it's also 100% here on merit.
Wait, why? Oh, it's okay. You're saying it's going to be higher in the rankings because it's the first one, but it's also here on merit. Okay, so you're saying that it's not just there because it's the first one. Okay, I could get that. I could get that.
Brian's character starts to come to life. You see Stewie start to soften a little, and
Brian's character starts to come to life. How?
Actually show that he might actually care about his dog. Actually. It also got the second best musical number out of all the miniseries. It's just full of charm. We learn
again saying that it's the best musical or the second best musical number. That's not a part of why it's like a good episode. That's like why it is subjectively something that you enjoy. It's not a part of actual commentary. You can say that offhandedly, but if you have no actual commentary except that, that's not good enough.
Learn about the characters, and yeah, it may not have the grandest of.
What'd you learn about the characters? Just no commentary. Oh, we'll just show you some of mine. Just to give you a little bit of a comparison.
It's in the therapist scene that the character flaw for Brian is established, being that
character flaw is established for Brian. Like, that's me saying how Brian is used as a character. Notice how all no villains are safe is... All no villains are safe does is say, yeah, Brian's character was good or whatever. It was, like, well done or whatever. Like, they don't actually say anything meaningful.
he has abandonment issues. Not sure if this is an intentional connection, but I do think that the fact that Brian's arc in this episode revolves around overcoming abandonment issues is all the more resonant, considering this is kind of the episode that him and Stewie become friends.
The arc about abandonment issues is related to them becoming friends. Okay, like those are just actual commentaries that I made.
Is Road to the Multiverse.
Wait, you bred a pig?
Sure did.
In the universe he got the swole pig from,
I can't, dude, if you're going to steal this joke, you got to steal the joke. The part of that scene that's funny is that the pig goes oink. Listen to this.
Wow, what'd you win that for?
For having the best pig in the competition.
Wait, you bred a pig?
Sure did.
in the universe he got the swole.
Cut off. You couldn't have spared half a second for the rest of oink. What?
However strange that sounds, it's pretty normal when you compare it to this universe's Meg.
All right, stop explaining jokes.
Or the double head split personality universe.
Find him anyway.
See, they're just, actually, Road to Multiverse was actually the hardest one for me to review because you basically can't talk about most of the universes in order to properly discuss this episode, because most of the universes you don't have much to say other than like they're funny or like they have, and that's fine because like that's kind of what I was saying earlier about the Road to Europe thing, how like in Road to Europe it's like it's a series of bits. That's kind of how the universes work, is that they're the series of bits, and then they get to the parts like the Disney universe or the dog universe where you like actually get certain character moments from them. The point of the universes is that they scare Brian and Stewie, or they bother Brian and Stewie. They give them a reason to want to leave each universe. But if you go over every different universe in a row, you're just recapping. You know, it makes it it's a very hard episode to review in that way, because you're going to feel like you're ignoring a lot of the episode by not talking about each individual universe as they go to it. But that's really for the best.
He's over there playing in the corner.
And of course,
they blurred that? Really? Do they just blur kissing in general, or was it because he was kissing himself? I don't know, man. I don't want to unpack that.
I saved the best to last. You know what it's a wonderful day for.
It's a wonderful.
So notice how it just said they land in It's a Wonderful Day for Pie. I'm going to point that out. He just goes, and of course they got to It's a Wonderful Day for Pie, and then he just played the song, you know? What a loser. He can't even do a Peter impression. It's a wonderful day for pie. Yeah, I did the voice in mine. We aren't all me, huh?
Now, the most memorable part of this sequence of the episode is how well it replicates Disney's art style and the It's a Wonderful Day for Pie song. But beneath the surface, the Disney Universe sequence has a lot more going for it in terms of the story. Let's talk a little...
So yeah, I was saying that there's more to the story in the Disney universe, which is true. There's more characterization when they get to that scene. Before that, it's like a lot of bits with different universes. And when they get to that point, that's when the themes of the episode actually start to be shown.
Bit about Peter. So in the first 3 Road Twos, Peter had his own separate B plots. And
so I mentioned basically here, just to give it quick, is that I just mentioned that Peter isn't really in a lot of the other Road Twos. And Peter's in a lot of Road to Multiverse.
And the reason that Peter has the personality he has is because he is an animated sitcom dad. But here in the Disney universe, all of those edges have been removed, leaving him only with a positive disposition and a love of pie. But this alternate universe Peter...
So see how I'm like talking about how it's not that the Disney universe has It's a Wonderful Day for Pie and like that's funny and that it's cool that they're drawn in Disney. They actually use it to tell the story. And they use Peter to reinforce that Peter is usually a very rough around the edges guy. But in a Disney universe, he wouldn't be, because that's not how Disney portrays people like him. So it would change his personality, and that's what makes the Disney universe meaningful to the story. And then because of the Walt Disney thing and how they treat Mort in the universe, there's that one major flaw, and they have to leave, basically showing that you belong in the place where you belong and trying to find another universe or another place, because that's what the story is really about. The story isn't actually about traveling to alternate universes. No one can travel to alternate universes. It's not something that happens. But you use the concept of traveling to alternate universes to tell stories that resonate with the audience that they can relate to. And No Villains Are Safe just saying, yeah, they did a wonderful day for pie. Wasn't that a cool number? Doesn't do anything. It doesn't matter. It doesn't give any real commentary.
Dog Stewie wants to play with human Stewie and takes him aside for a chat where he reveals that he's also discovered how to travel between universes, one that allows him to input exact coordinates instead of jumping around randomly.
No, I think that's an AI tell. That is not what happened at all. The dog Stewie did not make a better universe hopping teleporter. That's not what happened. The dog Stewie made the exact same teleporter. It's just that the dog Stewie realized that they had it set on shuffle, which means that the dog Stewie and the human Brian had the same thing happen in their universe where they hopped through universes and they kept going to the wrong ones, except they realized that it was on shuffle. That had to be an AI hallucination. You would not get that wrong if you actually watched the episode and wrote about it initially. It's wrong for the same reason Blue Shell Player is wrong. Like, if you actually watched the episode, you would never say that because you would have watched the episode. If you didn't know the show at all, you wouldn't even be able to say that much because you wouldn't know the plot. But AI is right in that middle where it would hallucinate. And then the person checking the script, because the person checking the script didn't watch the episode, they don't correct it because they don't know that that's there to correct.
Dog Peter provokes human Stewie and he bites Peter's hand, which is like the worst crime in the world in this universe.
He's our local human, can't you? Yeah.
It's not so. No, man. It's not biting someone's hand is not the worst crime in the world in this universe. It's because Stewie is dogs and humans are reversed. So Stewie is functionally a dog. And in the real world, a dog biting someone is the worst thing that dogs can do. Because like that does happen because basically Stewie bites dog Peter and Stewie gets taken to the pound and they're going to kill him because dogs will get put down if they bite a human. That's like a thing that happens that's really messed up in the real world. So saying it's like the worst crime in this universe, I think that's another AI hallucination where AI doesn't understand that context. It thinks that Stewie getting in trouble is because biting is a bigger crime. It's not. It's because he's treated as a dog in this universe. But the AI doesn't understand that context because it doesn't explain that context because anyone with a brain watching it would understand that. But AI doesn't understand that, so it writes it with that wrong detail, and the person going over the script probably didn't watch the episode, doesn't change it. It's two AI tells like really close together.
And they race back to their house to open a portal back to the original universe. Human Brian even asks to come along.
Wait, hold on. That just got that wrong again. Look, listen.
And they race back to their house to open a portal back to the original universe.
They race back to their house to open a portal to the other universe. No, they don't. They do it right there. There's literally the footage. Why does it add that detail? They race back to their house. That's 3 AI hallucinations in a row. A huge thanks to our dedicated and talented team. The writers, editors, researchers, voice actor, artists, and everyone else that helps make this channel what it is. Proudly producing clean content, free of AI. I don't believe you. Oh, look, they put a thing in the thing about the thumbnail. Our thumbnails do not always depict the exact final numbers or direct actions from the shows we cover. Our talented artists create them as a fun visual play on each video's title and theme. Oh, they so got clowned on. They so added that because they got clowned on. No way that's in every other video. Let's check another one, see if it's in there. Oh, no, I'm wrong. The disclaimer's in this video too. Oh yeah, it is. It's just in all of them. It's just in all of them.
So it's official, in my opinion. Road to the Multiverse is the best Stewie and Brian adventure in Family Guy.
In my opinion. I guess it would be by default in your opinion, but like, I never like saying in my opinion. I don't know. I just think that reviews should be objective. And I think reviews can be objective. I don't think there's any value in a video that is just my personal favorite this. I don't know. I don't think it's really, maybe it depends, but you should probably shy away from it. Like if you're going to be a creator, I don't think you should aspire to just make videos where you say like episodes that you like and like go like, well, in my opinion, I like it because it has like a good song or whatever. I don't know. I think maybe you just should just save it for your friends at that point. I don't think it's really worthwhile to have that be presented to a mass audience. I think it's fine to share your opinions with people you personally know, but videos should be saved for, actual commentary on things, not this. And it's not even a real person's opinion. Even if it's not AI, it's a team. Whose opinion is this? Who cares? You know, like maybe it would matter like a ranking of every road to if it's like someone who you know. At least if I did this video, a version of it where I just shared my opinion, at least people would be like, I wonder what Jackson thinks about these. I wonder what Jackson's. That's why I did it at the end. I did a personal ranking of the Road to episodes at the end of my video. My actual video was objective. It discussed the episodes themselves. It discussed how they worked, parts of them that didn't work, all that sort of stuff. But at the end, I did put my own opinion. You know, I put like what my personal ranking was. So I guess that is in my opinion. You know, I didn't make it the whole video. So I guess you could share your opinion if it's not the whole video. But who cares? Whose opinion is this? You're not a person. I don't even know your name. You're just a voice actor. The voice that we're hearing is just a voice actor. You know, provided it's not AI. I think it's not AI. I'm pretty sure it's a voice actor, but the voice you're hearing is just a voice actor who's hired to say these things. The writers is multiple, provided they aren't just AI. Who is behind this channel? I don't know your face. I don't know your name. I don't know who you are. I don't know who believes this. This isn't anyone's opinion. There's no point of this. I think saying in your opinion can be okay in a more casual analysis or even in a deeper analysis if you don't want to come across as being an authority. Yes, that could be fine. I don't think more casual analysis should like be a thing. I think analysis should be taken seriously, especially if it's on YouTube where you're like trying to like present it to a mass audience. But I get what you're saying. Like you could say, like you could go like, in my opinion, this. You can throw in something that you feel subjectively. Heck, I even did. Here's an example of me doing that.
It's silly bits involving alternate universes. My personal favorite is the political cartoon universe.
My personal favorite is the political cartoon universe. There you go. That is an in my opinion moment. So you're correct. Yeah, you are correct that there are times, but like you put it in between other analysis. Yeah, I think we're on the same page.
Hey, I'm just one guy with one opinion, okay? If you enjoyed looking...
What the heck? I'm just one guy with one opinion. Holy lying. Dude, like even by your own admission, a huge thanks to our dedicated and talented team. What do you mean I'm one guy with one opinion? No, you're not. Even if you're not AI, you're still admittedly multiple people. Look at all that they have to do to mimic a fraction of my power. Like they just wish they were me. You know, I mean, I know this got more views than mine, or like they have more subscribers than me, but like they wish they were me. It, like, not that they even know who I am or that they this or that, but what I mean is they are putting in all of this work to come off like they're like me. That's it. They are putting in all of this work to be like, yeah, I'm just a guy making videos. When I actually am a guy making videos. Like I am a guy making videos and they want to come off like they're me. Like, why not be like, yeah, with the team, you know, this is the team consensus on the Road to episodes. This is the team came together. Here at the office, we had a vote because we're a big team here at No Villains Are Safe. No, they said, I am just one guy with one opinion because they want to be me, or they want the audience to think that they're me. Because I don't know if No Villains Are Safe actually has any passion for discussing stuff. So they probably don't want to be me because they don't care about the things that they're talking about. They want to make money. They don't have any passion or any love of the arts or any care for, you know, discussing the arts and all this sort of stuff. They don't care about any of that because they're a wretched, evil tech bro who is just trying to cynically squeeze money out of anything and makes the world worse in the process. That's who they are. So they don't actually want to be me. Maybe they want to be me. I mean, they probably hate themselves. I mean, if you probably do hate yourself if you're some kind of like, that's why you do this stuff and try to cling towards being rich or powerful or whatever. It's because you hate yourself. So all tech bros do hate themselves. And I'm sure all the people behind No Villains Are Safe and Spongers and all these AI channels do hate themselves. And they should hate themselves. They're hateable people. They are correct to hate themselves. But like they want to come off like they're me. And I think that's so funny. Like, I think that's really, and I think that's why, even though this got more views than mine, No Villains Are Safe has more subscribers than me. Eventually, No Villains Are Safe is going to fade into obscurity. Eventually, they're going to go away. Eventually, they're not going to get enough views for it to be worth their time, and they're going to stop making videos. And I'm going to still be around. Because people will continue to watch me, because I am actually just a guy making videos. People who watch No Villains Are Safe, like, consistently, are the people who are tricked by that line that says, I'm just one guy's opinion. And then eventually, they're going to keep watching it, and they're going to watch enough No Villains Are Safe that they're going to be like, wait a minute, this is so corporatized. This is such a factory. This is such a farm, a content farm. And then they realize and they stop watching them. And then now No Villains Are Safe as dead subscribers. They have subscribers that realize what kind of garbage factory produced content it is. And then they stop watching. And in a lot of those cases, they just forget to unsubscribe and they become a dead subscriber. And that's why their views are going down. Because it keeps getting recommended to their subscribers who don't watch anymore, and YouTube notices that. That doesn't happen with me. I retain my viewers because they know I'm actually a guy. I will say it's odd that they claim to be a team of people, yet they use the same voice for every video. I think they just use the team thing to explain any AI weirdness. No. It's a voice actor. And I do believe that it's a voice actor. Yeah, it's a voice actor. That's the point. Writers don't like go and do the voice. Like, it's probably a guy who has like a professional like vocal booth in his house and he goes and records the line. Like any of their like writers or editors, depending on how many there are, if they even exist at all. I'm sure they do have writers. I think they do AI. Like, why would you not? Literally, there is no substance that AI wouldn't be able to provide. There was nothing in that video that AI couldn't do. Like, are you kidding me? There was nothing in this video that like needed a human to produce. Like, what a joke. Yeah, so like the voice actor just is supposed to like represent the like team itself. But yes, you are correct that they put the word team because of AI. As we saw from Ava's video on No Villains Are Safe, they didn't always have that. No Villains Are Safe. No Villains Are Safe did not always say, we are a team. It was not always a thing. They put it in because of AI accusations to try and explain away. Actually, I'm kind of wrong. It's not AI accusations. It was actually more so acting like they're one person. So No Villains Are Safe never admitted any AI use. They don't. They have been very firm that they don't use it. They have it in all their videos. What No Villains Are Safe did admit to is having a team. Because I think early No Villains Are Safe did try to come off like it was like one guy's opinion. And there would be a lot of comments that would be like, how are you doing these videos so fast? How are you, you're clearly not one person. And that's why you get the team. That's why you get the team in the description. But I'm sure the AI thing is there too, to try and like say, no, we're not AI when I'm pretty sure they're AI. I hope I've been able to demonstrate why that is worthless content and why my content is a bit better. You know, if they really tried, they could probably make quality content, but they make more money by content farming. No, I don't think so. I don't think that's true at all. I do not think that the main person behind No Villains Are Safe, I do not think that they are even remotely capable of making meaningful content, actually. I think that they are adult. I think that the person behind No Villains Are Safe is probably the most insufferable, media illiterate. You know they're a Trump supporter. Like, no, come on. Like, can you imagine the wretched human being who made this happen? Oh my goodness. Nah, no way. They not even. Maybe if they hired out. But I don't think even then, I don't think that's what makes good content. I don't think just going, I want to hire writers, tell writers to write good videos. I don't think that would get you good videos. Maybe if you got lucky. I think you need to be someone like me. I think you need to be someone who knows what the vision is, who knows what you should talk about, who knows how to discuss story, who has something going for you. I could hire a team. I don't have a team currently. I probably will in the future. I could even hire a team to help me write, but it would all be under my guidance. It would all be through my vision. And that would lead, like, I could turn this into not a content farm, but I could turn this channel into like a business in a positive way, not like, you know, selling it to private equity or corporatizing it or all this nonsense. But what I mean is I could reasonably up output and make really good stuff. And I probably will as the years go by. But I promise you, I will not turn into No Villains Are Safe. My content will not become procedural in the way that No Villains Are Safe is. It will always have my vision. The only thing that will change as I get bigger and if I get a team of my own is you will just get more of what I already had. But you need someone like me to do that because it wouldn't work. It wouldn't, if you as the person who is hiring people, even if you hire a writer, even if you hired me as a writer, it wouldn't work out because you can't lead it. You're not the person who has the introspection, who has the media literacy. You would just get threatened by that writer. If a writer was good enough, I wouldn't say if a writer was good enough, they wouldn't work for No Villains Are Safe because there's a lot of reasons why someone wouldn't make their own channel. Maybe they don't feel confident speaking. Maybe they don't have a lot of the editing knowledge. I don't know. But I feel like if someone was a good enough writer of YouTube videos that they could make No Villains Are Safe a good channel, I feel like they would just make their own videos. There's not that much of a barrier to entry. In fact, the biggest barrier to entry for making videos, I think, is writing. I think that's the biggest barrier to entry. I know there's a lot of people that get worried about their voice. They think that their voice isn't good enough for YouTube or that editing is difficult. Sound, like, oh, how do I get a good sound treated room? How do I get the right mic? Filming, you know, like you don't have to film to make YouTube videos. You can be faceless. But I got to say, the thing that gets in the way the most, the reason that most people who want to be YouTubers aren't YouTubers by far is they just can't come up with the right words. I think that is the number one be all end all. Not even necessarily writing, because some people are just good talkers. You know, like I think Ava doesn't, I don't know for sure. He probably scripts a little bit, but I think that there are Ava videos that are just him talking off the cuff. But like if you're good enough at talk, I mean, look at me. These are unscripted and these do well. But I do script my main channel videos. Like all these videos were very precisely scripted. I think that's the thing that stands in the way of most people. I think it's that they just aren't able to come up with it. So I think if someone was good enough at doing that, I think they just wouldn't work for No Villains Are Safe in the first place. I think they would just be like, dude, why am I like, imagine that. Imagine working for No Villains Are Safe and writing like a real analysis of the Road to episodes. Like imagine having that job. Imagine getting hired to write a not garbage version of this video where you actually analyzed every episode. Dude, just go make your own channel at that point. Don't write for them. They're screwing you, you know? But if you're just writing, you know, if you're just going over an AI generated script and, you know, trying to take out as many mistakes as you can, then like, sure, that's like just paycheck to paycheck, you know? You probably aren't even really that good of a writer in the first place, you know? Maybe you are, I don't know. And, you know, no hate to someone who's trying to like get that bag working for No Villains. Okay, a little hate, a little hate, just a little. I mean, maybe not to your writing, but like, come on, like really, this is what you're doing with your life? Like, you know, I can respect get that bag to a certain extent. If this is the channel you work for, you could probably find another job. Like, come on, don't be a part of this. All right. So I think I've made my point about how No Villains Are Safe is garbage and I'm awesome. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I will see you next time.